everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Make Money Your Honey podcast. I am here with the queen of the 10X Empire, Elena Cardone. How are you, Elena?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me today. I love this. Make money your honey. I love it.
Yes, that's what we're all trying to do. I have a question. Do you go by queen or empress?
Oh, either sounds absolutely divine to me.
Because I'm like, queen may not be enough for everything that Grant and Elena have built. I don't know, we might have to upgrade to empress.
I like it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, I'm upgrading.
Awesome. So for those who may not know, who is Elena Cardone and how did she get here?
Okay, so Elena Cardone is a girl from New Orleans, Louisiana, never went to college. I was always an artist, a visionary. I was not an academia type person. So I always kind of battled with that aspect of things, trying to fit in. Everyone tried to, or at least my perception was everybody tried to make me fit in this sort of normal box that I just didn't fit in with. And for a long time, I really tried to comply. I really tried to kind of fit into to doing the social norm, and that didn't work for me. So fortunately, when I married and I found Grant, I found another mind who was of comparable magnitude that could think as big as I did, who didn't think I was crazy, who wasn't upset that I had all these big, huge visions. But actually, when I asked him, what is it that you want to do? And he said, I want 7 billion people to know who I am. I thought, okay, I've met my match. I can work with you. I can work with you. So then I evolved and I said, I put a lot of this old mindset and considerations and limiting beliefs that I had bestowed upon myself. I just threw them to the wind and I said, you know what, I'm going to start playing this life on my terms, in my game, and see what I can create and see what I can paint. And it took a lot, it seems easy in hindsight, but it took a lot of sacrifice to come to realizations and epiphanies and having to work through things and let things go. It's not easy to let things go. Old people, old considerations, old mindset, and trust, especially in a man. I had always never depend on a man, never trust a man. And now I'm married to one that I felt like I couldn't trust. But how do you let that go and actually just go all in on somebody that you are going to decide to trust because they've earned it, and then build something. And we've built a massive empire. But previous to that, we always made a decision that if we ever were to build something this substantial, we were not going to close the curtains. We weren't going to become those wealthy people that close the curtain and hide behind closed doors and don't let anyone see. We're both from Louisiana. I said, you know what, if we make this, we're going to keep the curtains open so people can learn what we did to fast track their way to success. So you don't have to make the years of mistakes and agony that Grant and I did. You can look and say what they did right, what they did wrong. How can we get the data, apply it to our life to fast track your way to success? Because I want to see all of my people, quote unquote, the little people, that they like to label us, those completely obsessed people, the not normal people. I want to see them at the top with us, not just be up there by myself and hoard it and hide it from everyone. So that's who I am now. That's Elena in a nutshell. I support my husband to bring financial literacy and stability and legacy to families across the world. I want to restore the value of the family dynamic and make relationships cool again. And then I'm also starting this sort of women who want to take responsibility for their power as a woman and to change the world. I'm starting a whole women's movement in that area too.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. I love that you brought up financial literacy. I was actually a financial writer for 8 years. And when I found you and Grant, one of the things that attracted me to him was when he was talking about the financial system and how it's set up. And at that point, I'd been up to my eyeballs in data for 8 years. And I went, oh my God, they're right. We've all been operating with the wrong data for decades. And it was a huge light bulb moment. And I was in the 10X Kool-Aid ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know, a lot of people think something's wrong with them. You think, what's wrong with me? I can never have money. It seems so easy for other people. And you go back to, what am I doing wrong? Or it doesn't work for me. And you come up with all these reasons why that you don't have money or can't get it, or it doesn't, or you have it and it leaves. And some people get so twisted around money. And it's interesting because I tell those people, look, there is nothing wrong with you except for the fact that you have the wrong information. Because information, the derivation, you know, the root word of the word information means a formation of the mind. And knowledge is power. But if you're given the wrong knowledge, what would that mean? If knowledge is power, but you have the wrong knowledge, wouldn't it mean that you would have a deformation of the mind? So that's the only thing that's wrong with you, is that you have the wrong information creating a deformation of the mind, and that's why you're having problems with money. But when you get the right information, the real why, and you can start applying the correct information and you plug it into life, you know, it's like the light bulb goes off and all of a sudden it works. It doesn't just work for me because I'm special, because I went decades without it, with the wrong information, get the right information, and click, it works. And it's happened over and over and over and over and over and over with so many people that, you know, Grant has educated on money, that it's irrefutable.
Absolutely irrefutable. And, you know, one of the things I've learned from you and Grant was a lot of what we've been taught about money is to play small and avoid problems and avoid going big and avoid getting attention. And one of the things I've learned from the two of you is actually we should be doing the exact opposite. We should be building empires. So why exactly should we be focused on building empires?
Well, it's like you said, money follows attention, right? So you do have to put yourself out there, which is contradictory to when people say, go under the radar, be seen and not heard, like trying to avoid. What are you trying to hide from? Like if you've got a good product and you're an ethical person, then it's a transgression against yourself to not put it out there and have others benefit from your products and services. So why build an empire? Because empires are the only thing that can sustain a massive hit. Because empires are abundance, not just in wealth, but certainly you need resources, and wealth is one of those resources that you need on the planet. But you need abundance of courage. You need abundance of people that agree upon the mission, that are fighting for you, with you, for the mission. You need an abundance of courage. You need abundance. And when you have abundance, you can take a hit and a little chunk can go. And then you can refortify and build up. But if you're starting with small and little and you take a hit, you're wiped out. You're devastated. The foundation is gone. You know, it's like empires are the only thing that can sustain a hit and even grow in that time. Normal doesn't stand a chance. Normal is so delusional because it makes you think everything is fine until it's not. You take an economic collapse or COVID or a lawsuit or somebody getting sick in the family and you're decimated. You're over. It would take years to rebuild. You have an empire, an army of people, okay? That punch showed me where the weakness was, where the vulnerabilities are, okay? I can build this up, make the adjustment, and come back stronger, bigger, badder, better.
Yeah, I think I've heard you mention not only can I give a punch, I can take one too.
Wait, say that again?
That I think I've heard you say not only can I give a punch, but I can also take one and be okay.
I say be tough enough to take a hit and then strong enough to deliver a blow. Sometimes you need to deliver a blow. Sometimes you need to just not get distracted with people and just let them and eat it and take it, because the mission is more important than them trying to derail you to go off and play their small-minded little games. That's not worth it for me. Like, okay, you can continue, it's like a dog barking at the wheels of a fire truck that's running to go burn out the building. They're not going to stop the truck to kick the dog that's barking at the tire. You know, it's insignificant. It's just, you got to let it go. But then there's certain times where you got to be, if the dog is in between you and putting out the fire, the best decision might be, I got to roll over the dog to put out the fire, because that's more important, because I got to go save lives. There's people in that building depending on me to help them, to change the trajectory of their life. And then you got to decide, when do you want to hit and when do you need to ignore because, the mission is too great.
So along those lines, what would you say is some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to build empires?
They try to do it alone. You've been indoctrinated to think that it's cool to be a solopreneur, that it's cool to do everything on your own. Especially if you're a woman like me and you thought you have to do everything on your own, never depend on anyone, especially a man. Like how can you, I say this all the time. Grant says this all the time. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. You can either spend your time building the railroad tracks and building your own, and then at the end of your life cycle, you can say, I did my own train, I rode it my whole way, and you can be exhausted, and it could even possibly never be built. Or you can get with someone who's already built the tracks, get on the train, share the ride, and go together. Do you know what I mean? So our biggest mistake is we didn't partner and collaborate with enough people sooner. Grant and I tried to do everything on our own. It cost us about 10 years. I should be way further than we are right now. Even though we've done a good job, we should be way further ahead because we refused to let people in. We thought we have to compete, we have to whatever. Now we collaborate.
Yeah, and that's very common. I know I got that story growing up, like it's all on you. You can't depend on a man, make your own money. And when I found you and Grant, that story started shifting. A lot of people are waiting for a 10x dating app, Elena.
I'm already in the works.
When is that happening?
It's in the works. I've already started talking about it. You know, I think it's time. I need to start doing events. Too many guys are coming to me saying, where's all the 10x ladies? I'm like, at 10x ladies? And too many women are like, where do I find a guy, a 10x guy? And I'm like, okay, y'all just need to come to 10x GrowthCon, which, by the way, there's been multiple marriages that have formed because they met at 10x GrowthCon.
I believe it. I believe it. My whole team's like waiting for that app. They're like, as soon as they drop it, we're dropping our credit card. Let's go.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, I'll go talk to Jared Yellen after this.
All right. So what you mentioned 10x ladies. What is 10x ladies?
So 10x ladies is it's a group of women who are willing to take responsibility and understand that being 10x means they're 10x on 5 pillars, which is mindset, 10x in relationships, not just with their partners, but their children, their colleagues. You get it? Relationships. You need those to exist on this planet. Business, mindset, and then lifestyle, health, and wellness. So those are the 5 pillars, and the concept behind that is you can't be 10x in relationships and be failing in your finance. And you can't be 10x in your finances and failing in your relationships. And you can't be 10x in your relationships and your finance and failing in your health. You see what I'm saying? So they're all together. It's the foundation. It's the pillars to which the empire is built upon. So how do we come together as women to get the right information, to have the right infrastructure and mindset to support each other as women? How to get along with our spouses, yes, that's all included. But how do we come together as women to bring our power to help each other reach a heightened level of success and support more women winning and owning their power? Because I believe women have a power. Men are strong, men are powerful. This is not, just hear what I'm saying in the context. I'm not saying anything bad about men or anything like that. But what I am saying is, I believe women are extremely powerful in this society. Meaning powerful, what does that mean? It means the capacity or the ability to influence the behavior of others. So if we have a higher awareness, a higher level of responsibility, and we're willing to go back into our families and make a difference, make the family dynamic work, make it work in our relationships at work, and we're winning and going to a heightened level, we have the capacity to destimulate the environment and bring everybody up. And I believe that is what our power is as women. So I'm trying to formulate, and I'm being successful, but I can always use more help. But I want to bring these women together who are finally ready to step up, level up, meaning increase something to close the disparity of owning our power as women and making our mark to impact this planet for the better.
I was there in October, the one in the yacht, and I have to say it is probably one of the best events I've ever been to. Ever.
Woo! Thank you.
Ever. And I've been going to business events for 12 years. I was like, nope, they did it. I mean, they went all out. One of my favorite parts was the Sunday morning when you said, and this really stayed with me, Sunday morning when you said, hey, did you guys enjoy the cruise and all that stuff? And then we were like, yeah. You were like, did you like the helicopter? And then you said that helicopter was for me.
Oh.
And I was like, yes, because we need more of that. Right? We need more people showing. And before we started recording, I told you I'd heard some feedback while I was there that I wasn't sure if you were aware of, but I kept having a lot of conversations with the women who were there. And one of the common theme that kept coming up for every woman I spoke to was, we're in a room where we don't feel like we have to play small to make everybody else feel comfortable.
Oh, wow. That just gave me chills. Woo, look at that. Wow. I love that. I'm writing that down. Woo! It's good. Thank you.
And I felt that way too.
Wow. Wow.
Because a lot of women do feel that. They feel like they have to make everybody else comfortable. So they're like, we're not going to show off. We're not going to talk about it. But in that room, like, you didn't have to worry about offending anybody with your greatness.
Oh, yes. And that's a risk taker.
That's a risk.
That's a risk taker. They're
the
putting themselves at risk for ridicule by putting themselves out there, by saying, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. And why do I have to play small? And why can't I own and make you come up? Why do I have to come down to make you okay? I'm going to be here. And if you want to come up, you come up. And I'll support you either way. But don't stop me from being up. I love that message.
Yeah, I actually said that on Facebook one time and I got a lot of crap for it. They're like, but what do you mean? Like, and I was like, what? Okay, 10X ladies, here I come, because a lot of people don't get that. I'm just like, why do I have to slow down for everybody else to keep up? I'll help you up, right? But why do I have to come down?
That's right.
That's always bothered me.
Right. It bothers me too. And they make it not okay. What's wrong with you? You look tired. You work too much. When's enough enough? All of this is saying more about themselves. They're saying, I don't have energy. I don't have guts to go for it. You going for it makes me have to confront myself, and I don't like that because I gave up on myself and you're not. So let me attack you to make you stop so I can feel okay being complacent, being mediocre, being average, being normal, being comfortable, because you over here putting yourself in a pressure environment to make your damn diamonds is making me feel threatened. That's all that is.
Absolutely. And as president of the Too Much Club, because I'm one of the women who gets called too much at least 5 times a week, at least, right? I will say that all the Too Much women really appreciate what you're doing, so you can get us in a room together and we don't have to feel like we're too much. We're just like, we're like exactly who we are, and we're expanding.
That's right.
Without the fear of being criticized.
Oh, God. I love it.
All right. So how can people learn more about 10X Ladies? I know you have one coming up. Are you running it multiple times a year? What are we doing? Because I can't go to the next one, but I'm like, the one after that, like, when's it happening? Because I'm going.
Well, okay, so they can go to 10xladies.com. You can get your tickets. It is this Friday and Saturday, February 4th and 5th. Then February 6th and 7th is my Build an Empire Mastermind. So the big plan is I do one event of 10X Ladies every year. But then Build an Empire Mastermind is just me. So 10X Ladies is I bring in all my friends or all the people I do business with or want to do business with, so you can really see what it is I'm doing. So you understand I'm being transparent. This isn't an event where at this point, and maybe I will change my mind in the future, but at this point, I'm not paying. Not that I have a problem with paying, because I do believe you have to pay to be in certain rooms and to gain access, and I'm not against that at all, because I would never ask anyone to do something I'm not willing to do, which I'm asking people to pay to attend my events, so clarification there. But at this point, I'm not paying some high-end celebrity 200 grand to come in and speak to us. Right now, in this phase, I'm showing, okay, this is how I'm doing it. This is the mirror. This is the curtains, so you can actually see what it is that I'm doing. And then Build an Empire Mastermind is separate. This is me 2 days alone with you, a small group, 50, 100 women, and we go through a workbook. And it's like a classroom. And by the end of this workbook, you literally have the blueprint of your life, like where you're going, what the red flags are, what's the objective, what's the mission, what am I going to do, what's plan A, step B when I go home. So you have your blueprint custom for your life. So you have the target insight, so you know exactly what you're shooting for. It's not like, oh, we play this random game and oh, isn't that? No, we are very clear in getting you hooked in, grooved into exactly how to build an empire, how to expand an empire, and how to protect the empire. So I do Build an Empire Mastermind. That's this coming weekend, right after 10X Ladies. And I do 4 of those a year. So the first one, this weekend, is on mindset. Then I'm doing the next one in 2 months, so there'll be 4 a year. The next one's going to be like business and finance. The next one's going to be on relationships. Not just with spouse, relationships. Certainly they apply. And then the last one is lifestyle, health, and wellness. So there's going to be 4 Build an Empire Masterminds throughout the year to keep women connected and to really get grooved into the mindset of where we're all going. And then the annual 10X Ladies is where we pool all the women together, and then you can hear from everyone, and then hopefully bring them into the Build an Empire Mastermind program.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time. I really believe you and Grant are basically doing God's work, because you changed my life. You're in the process of changing my team's life. And I don't even know if you know, like, I was at a cafe a couple weeks ago watching Cardone You, and I literally had strangers high-fiving me when they saw what I was watching. So you guys, like in Miami, people are like, oh yeah, we know Grant. We get down with Grant.
Nice. And now, next time you'll be on Build an Empire online course, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Elena Cardone. That's
Cardone,
what's up. Come on now.
Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Ladies.
The ladies, yes, all ladies who are listening to this, highly recommend the event. It's one of the best ones I've ever been to. Read Build an Empire, the book. It really does make you start thinking differently about relationships and what it is that you're trying to build. And really, I think ultimately at the end of the day, this is really about purpose and making sure that you leave your imprint on the world. And you and Grant are definitely doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.